So what are we in this for? Why do you people stack silver? Why do you people buy gold? Why do you people buying platinum and palladium and rhodium? And why even bother? What is this? Why don't you buy some Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin is pretty new in the grand scheme of things. I don't like new things. Yeah, I'm not debating for a second that a lot of people haven't made a lot of fiat off of it. But the fact is it's not a real investment in, say, like the stock market. It's vapor. It's nothing. It's FOMO, fear of missing out. You're buying something that does not exist because everybody else is buying it. And that's pretty much why it's worth anything at all. It's not producing any a product. It's not producing a good or a service, from what I can tell. It's like fiat. It's a medium of exchange. But the problem is fiat has a dollar has a dollar set to it. Now it's going to get inflated into where it's not worth anything. But the fact is it's a dollar. It's backed by the issuing country. You know, they say this is legal tender for transactions, public and private. And so we use it for that. Now, we're not happy about that a lot of times. We might prefer trading, getting paid in silver and gold and then, using silver and gold to buy and sell with, like man did for, copper coins and all that for eons. But this is the way we do things now. To here and now today, we don't use silver and gold as money. We still buy them when we're freaking out to store money, but we don't exchange them on a daily basis for goods and services. The reason we're in this is to preserve wealth. The reason I brought this up is somebody said, somebody made a comment in here about how they got into stacking silver so long ago, a little over a year ago or something like that, and they're hoping to hand it down to their daughter one day. That is perfect. That's the mindset. Whenever you go into this, if you're doing it to get rich quick, if you're doing it to flip and make a buck, that could happen. It can happen. My rhodium shot to the moon. Look at the historical charts, keeping in mind that I bought rhodium under 1,000 in around 2015, and then look at where it spiked up to. I am not debating that one of these oddball metals could not go to the moon for some reason, but it's usually a supply and demand thing. The supply went down because all these automotive industries started buying up all the rhodium, from what I can tell. This is what I've read. And that causes a shortage, and so the price goes up. Boom, there you go, supply and demand. Ideally, what we want to do with our metals, and if you talk to silver stackers that have been doing this for years, their goal is to either never touch their metals. It's just a preservation. So when you say, well, it's not going up, it's just kind of holding out against inflation or some stupid crap like that. Well, if that's what it's doing, that would be the exact point. You got $100, you save $100. If it's in the bank goes under. Are you going to get your $100 back or not? If you trust that FDIC crap, you're out of your mind. They don't have enough money for a banking collapse. That's just there so suckers will keep putting their money in the bank and keep it in the bank where they think it's safe. And then how much do they insure again? What, 200, 250,000? A lot of people got a lot more than that. Banking collapses and my money's gone. I don't know if I'm going to get it back. They tell me I will, but I don't know if I will or not. I got a piece of silver in my hand, a piece of gold or platinum or palladium or rhodium. I got a lot better chance of getting my money back at some point or another. Maybe not today when the dollar collapses. Someplace else I might. I could run down into Mexico, South America, Europe, Canada, somewhere, and that metal's going to have some money or have some value to somebody. That's the point. The point is if something does collapse, that's part of the point. If it does collapse, if the dollar does collapse, like Venezuela's money did, because they just kept printing and printing and printing and printing like we're doing now, at some point or another, the value of that's going to become like near zero, and then your metals are going to be what's valuable. Crypto again is just too sketchy for me. I don't trust vapor, I don't trust FOMO. So the goal again is we buy it, we hold it, we want it to hold out against inflation. That's the big thing. That's primary. If inflation's going up 3% per year and our silver's kind of holding out, or if it's dipping and diving and bobbing and weaving and kind of getting into positions where we can get our money back and break even or come out ahead, hey, that's great. That's great. That's the point. The point is I didn't have my cash in the bank when the bank collapsed. Is this sinking in? There is a secondary goal, which I believe that most stackers probably have in mind, which is holding the metal either till they can hand it down to an offspring or a number of offspring, or when they retire, having this to fall back on. Now, my wife, me and my wife, I had children and a child from my first marriage. And with my current wife, we don't have any kids. She's never had any kids. She's never wanted any kids. So the idea that she's stacking now, that we're keeping silver and metals for her, is going to be probably for her retirement. But if there comes a day where she's lived her life and she's at a point where she's say I'm long gone and she's there and she's on her deathbed and she's going to hand that metal down to somebody in the family, maybe her nieces and nephews, maybe my kids, or it's going to be her choice. But the point is she's going to hand it down to somebody that she knows is going to have, to value it and to use it wisely, and maybe hand it down to their kids. Use it for she could use it for her retirement. If she doesn't spend it all, she hands it down. If she does need it for retirement, then okay, boom, there you go. It was worth saving it up. What's the difference between this and having your money socked away in an IRA? Well, it makes money. Yeah, you know what? I had a 401k, years ago, and it wasn't doing nowhere near as well as me just taking my cash out of there and me investing it in metals myself. Not just silver, but over the spectrum of the 5 metals that I deal with. Very little gold, but, and that again is the point. I can take them, when I have the metals in my hand, when I have the investments under my control, instead of turning my money over to a 401k or an IRA or whatever they do with it, I have control of when I buy and sell. The one thing I found out in life, nobody on this planet cares more about my stuff and my money more than I do. Yeah, the guy down at the investment clinic, down at, John's Investments and Savings, I'm sure that he cares enough because he wants his paycheck. But when it comes down to it, that dude don't give a rat's rear about my money, about me making sure that my money is safe. He just wants his paycheck. That's it. You think these guys care about your money and whether they end up losing it? They don't. To them, it's just an investment that they lost out on. And I know because when I had my 401k, 2 or 3 months in a row, it was losing money, and I was not highly invested in risky stuff. It was just I would put X amount of money in, and it would lose X amount of money, and I would be lower. It's kind of hard to explain. The numbers would not be, so if I put in $100, I may as well have only put in 97. Just put it that way. So I took my money back out, and I started investing that money because I had metals, but then I also had a 401k with the job. The guy comes in and he had the sales pitch, and I didn't know what a 401k was. Sounded good. He really sold us on it really good, and it's like, you know what? After a few months of that, I'm like, nah, the hell with this. I'm just going to put that money into my metals too. And thankfully, I didn't put a whole bunch of money into it. Now, the company was matching, so I was coming out ahead. But the problem is if I had only been putting it in myself for 4 months, I would have been losing money on it. The only reason I was coming out ahead was because the company was matching the money I was putting into it. I don't trust these retirement plans. I don't trust these companies. I know a company. where I used to live, the company that owns that, they had a guy that was ready to retire. He had been working for them for decades. His health is eroding. He is about ready to retire, like within months. You know what they did? Guess. And you know what I'm about to say. They filed bankruptcy. There you go. Now, I don't know how the hell the bankruptcy can get them out of paying somebody's pension, but evidently there must be a way to do it, because he came by my place and was hopping mad about it. And we talked for a little bit, and he explained what they did, and now he's seems to be screwed on his pension. You know what's good about silver? I don't have to worry about a pension. I don't have to worry about a 401k. I don't have to worry about the IRA. I take my cash today. I buy what silver that I feel like I can afford. Gold, platinum, palladium, rhodium, whatever. Whichever one is down is the one I usually focus on. Whichever one's closest percentage-wise, whichever one feels the most comfortable because it's the closest to its production cost. Or it's the most likely to go up instead of down dramatically. With the caveat that I honestly don't care if they go down. That's another thing, is when I say I'm buying it because it's at the bottom and it can only go up, don't misunderstand that. Don't look at this and say, well, it didn't go up, it went down. I don't care. See, I've been in this for almost 40 years. I don't care that it went down, because in my mind, I'm still in buying mode. In my mind, that allows me to buy more cheaper. That allows me to take that $5,000 and buy more metal with it when the price goes down. Because it always goes back up. All you got to do is look at the charts. These people that say it's pancake flat, it's been pancake flat for 10 years, you're a liar. No, it hasn't. And anybody that can say that, anybody that can tell you that, is not only a liar, but they clearly have not even looked at the charts. They're making an assertion that is a lie because they are fabricating information where they have not looked at the reality of it. They have not looked at the charts and say, oh wow, silver has not been flat for the last 10 years. Gold has definitely not been flat for the last 10 years. If anything, they've been all over the place, and they have risen over 10 years, both of them. Gold dramatically. And so, you know, when you're looking at the whole picture, I'm going to have to wrap this up. When you're looking at the whole picture, what we're doing is we're trying to invest our money in safe investments, in something that has a history of being valuable. Metals, precious metals, gold, silver. Obviously now platinum, palladium, and rhodium have been added to the list. We're trying to keep our money invested in that instead of a banking system that can collapse, instead of Bitcoin, which does not actually exist, instead of the stock market, which, you know, look back into the big crashes. How many people lost vast fortunes? With the metals, I have them in my possession. I now own this physical product that I can sell tomorrow or 25 years from now, whenever it is in my best interest to sell. Or I can hand it down to my kids. Y'all have a great day.